A few weeks ago, we started on a mountain bike trail because we were waiting on getting a skid steer out to the dirt jumps. But finally, that wait was over and we were able to get all the dirt moved that we had needed to for a while. But I'm not going to show you what we built just quite yet, but maybe this massive kicker will give you a hint. One of my main goals with these trails was to learn new tricks. But with the existing jumps, this was not the best setup for that. So today we are making a step-up jump, or in other words, the perfect jump for learning new tricks. I decided to go with a 6-foot tall lip and a 10.5-foot radius. This would give you the right amount of pop so you're going high without having to jump a 10-foot gap, while also not being too steep to do tricks like a 360. The radius was also just mellow enough to be cut smoothly with the circular saw. Once the shape of the lip was cut out, we used some of the leftover plywood as scabs to attach the two pieces together during the construction of the ramp. To make construction easy, we made the lip 4 feet wide, which will later allow us to put on the final piece of plywood for the surface without any cutting. We tacked the frame together with some 2x4s so we could begin placing the ribs that would support the plywood on the surface of the lip. We placed ribs at every foot to ensure that we wouldn't punch a hole through the surface later on riding the ramp. Once all the ribs and supports were placed, it was time to attach the plywood to the surface of the ramp. This thing looked huge in my small garage, but that made me that much more excited to finally go out and get to hit it. With the majority of the ramp constructed, it was time to call it a night. The next morning was very sketchy. Having a 10-foot long ramp sticking straight up out of the bed of Bailey's already pretty tall truck. Thankfully, we only had to take a few back roads and we ended up barely clearing some low-hanging power lines. To make this step up, we dug a hole leading up to the landing we had built using a skid steer. A few other things needed to be changed before we could ride this as well. The Roland needed a much bigger transition at the bottom since we had to take a bit of a curve into it. The steps on the Roland were also on the wrong side. Now that we were riding down the right side of the Roland, we had to relocate them to the other side. With those two things taken care of, the last thing we needed was to pack down the last of the dirt on the landing. And we have an easy way of doing that, thanks to Bailey. And with a little raking, it was ready to ride. While this jump isn't exactly a step up yet, that will change very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.